بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين Inshallah ta'ala. We reached up to page 186 in the section of the House of Al-Haddad from the book A Blessed Valley, and we're continuing with the biography of the great Imam Abdullah bin Alawi Al-Haddad. Let us restart with Al-Fatiha to the soul of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his noble descendants, and among them Al-Imam Al-Haddad rahimahullah ta'ala. Al-Fatiha.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. The author, may Allah Ta'ala have mercy on him, said, a man of Allah Ta'ala who had been attending these sessions once came to the Imam saying that whenever he watched him teaching at the Hujayra Mosque, he saw two men, one sitting to his right and one to his left. He wished to know who they were. The answer was, the one on my right side is Sheikh Umar al-Mihdar, and the one on my left, Sheikh al-Ghazali. The Imam visited.
These are unveilings from the unseen. And one of the things we can benefit from that is that when you're working, sometimes you yourself in the physical realm may be alone. But what you should realize that when you're working for the sake of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, when you're conveying this noble way of life, you are supported from the unseen. Even sometimes that you don't see it, at minimum, there are malaika. And also, there are the assistants from the awliya and from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the unseen. And among the karamat is that sometimes this is unveiled to people. So if you remember Al-Ghazali, the famous Imam Al-Ghazali, and Sheikh Umar al-Mihdar is the son of Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Saqaf. All of them who lived way before Imam al-Haddad.
The Imam visited the Daw'an Valley 3 times, twice in the lifetime of his master, Habib Umar ibn Abdul Rahman al-Attas, rahimahullah, and once after his passing away. As Sheikh Muhammad Baqais, rahimahullah himself, from Da'an, was later to write, the first visit was unintended, for he had set out to visit Imam Muhajir in his usual manner, but once he had done, he felt an urge to visit Sheikha Sultana al-Zubaydiyah. Then Sheikh Umar
al-Zubaydiyah, one of the great awliya of Allah among the women, right? So Sheikha and Sultana is befitting. Highlight. MashaAllah. So Sheikha can be a title, and also Sheikha can be a name. Now,
Then Sheikh Umar ba Makrama in Sayun. One thing led to another, for he felt driven to visit the cemetery of Shibam, then Sheikh Abdul Rahman ba Hormuz in Hainan. Finally, he felt attracted to visit Habib Umar ibn Abdul Rahman al-Attas in Hurayda. This visit seems to have taken place in 1071 AH, 1661 CE, while the second visit, in the course of which he built his mosque in the sands outside Shibam, which he named Masjid al-Abdal, occurred in 1072 AH, 1662 CE. This was the same year he instituted the Ratib.
And you'll notice with Imam Haddad, Masjid al-Abdal, al-Abdal is among the ranks of the awliya, those who are substituted. When one of them passes, Allah substitutes with another one.
Shibam was dear to the Imam's heart, for its people had recognized him for the master he was, loved him, and were keen to benefit from him, contrary to the people of his hometown of Turim, many of whom were ignorant of his very existence.
And here I want you, for me, this is a motivation. I hope for all of us who work in da'wah, and sometimes we're in a place where people are not receptive, but you go other places and people are receptive. This happened to Imam al-Haddad. They didn't, many in his town knew him, they didn't benefit from Imam al-Haddad. In fact, when people came to Tarim to look for Imam al-Haddad, people were like, "You're looking for him?" That type of attitude. But outside of Tarim, people, he was sought after. And later, after his death, he became extremely famous. So this is the habit. And you would read in his books, Imam al-Haddad would mention the fact that the people of his city did not benefit much from him. And that's why you find most of the students were from outside of Turin. Mm.
His biographer, Habib Muhammad ibn Zayn ibn Sumayt, rahimahullah, once asked Imam Ahmed ibn Zayn al-Habashi, rahimahullah, why the people were not crowding around Imam al-Haddad, rahimahullah, as would have been expected. He answered that it was because they had no idea of the Imam's high rank, for had they been aware of it, they, his close disciples, would have been unable to find a place to sit at his gatherings or to read books in his presence.
And in another narration, he told him, "Hey, be thankful, be quiet, and be thankful uh, that Allah has given us this private time with Imam al-Haddad." Right? And they benefited greatly. To uh, Al-Habib Muhammad bin Zayn al-Habashi, I mean, bin Muhammad bin Zayn al-Sumayt, bin Sumayt, he wrote 2 large volumes, actually 3, in talking about the life of Imam al-Haddad and the benefits there. And those books, outside of the books of Imam al-Haddad, are very important for understanding the life of Imam al-Haddad. And he also did the same for Habib Ahmed bin Zayn al-Habashi, right? He wrote about him too. So he wrote about Imam al-Haddad, he wrote about Imam al-Haddad sheikhs, and he wrote about Habib Ahmed bin Zayn al-Habashi. And that's all in those private sessions they had. That's why I tell you, we could read just in this tradition for the rest of our lives and we won't run out of material. Just the manuscripts is so much. Subhanallah. Mm.
To illustrate how ignorant of the man who lived among them the people of Tarim were, the following story was sometimes told by his disciples. A man from Shibam, from the Ba'dhib family, once traveled to Tarim to see a bookbinder. He sat in the shop waiting while the man worked on his books. When it was time for the Dhuhr prayer, he told him he would take the opportunity to pray with Habib Abdullah al-Haddad. "And who is this Haddad?" the man asked, somewhat disapprovingly. This made the Shabami very angry, for he could not believe his ears. What? Were there people in the Imam's hometown who knew nothing of him? You do not know the Habib Abdullah? You do not know Habib Abdullah al-Haddad? Excuse me. You do not know who Habib Abdullah Haddad is, he screamed. Then he vowed never to have any dealings with this bookbinder again. The Imam offered the
What kind of
litany.
disrespect? You got the qutb of the time in your land, in your city, you know, the wali, great wali and knower of Allah. But people, they say that being close to people is sometimes a veil. The ones who's the closest to you will be the most veiled from you. Subhanallah. It is the one who's away from you who will benefit the most. Normally, not in every single case, but the normal case is the ones who are closest are the furthest. So they have a saying, they say, oftentimes the close is distant and the distant is close. I remember when I was a kid, you have some sayings that stick in your mind. So this is in my young Ansar days. And Dr. York, who was known as Imam Isa, then we didn't know no Dr. York in those days. He used to have like early Sunday morning classes. So uh, he was telling a story about Jesus, and he was talking about this fact. And he said in his ghetto voice, he said, "Yeah, they didn't accept Jesus, even though they was there, and they was having that feeling when he was coming teaching to them. They was like, who, him? That's Mary's boy. He ain't no Messiah. That's Jesus, Mary's boy, right? That type of spirit." Uh, and I remember I found that so funny because people had this type of attitude, and it's a similar thing. They had this attitude with the prophets and the righteous people. You know, that's the attitude they had. Even in our time, you'll see the person who be right with the teacher and would be not benefiting from them right there. And people that's far away develop and learn from the same teacher that you with every single day because you're too close. Too close. This would happen with Imam al-Haddad. Ain't that right, Sister Samira? You got all these people praising your husband, Imam Naeem, learning Maliki fiqh and learning about the Shehu, and the people right there paying them no attention. See, told you. Say it happened to Imam Haddad too. It's the nature. So don't be like that. If you're around a teacher, benefit. Sit down, humble yourself, forget the fact that you remember him when he used to wear underoos, and do the job. Learn. Don't deprive yourself. Mm.
The Imam authored the litany entitled Al-Ratib, soon to be called Al-Ratib al-Shahir, the famous litany. The story of how it was composed is as follows. A man from a village in the neighborhood of Shibam, having heard that the Zaydi Shia of northern Yemen had invaded the south, came to the Imam requesting that he direct him to some prophetic invocations containing explicit references to the beliefs of Ahl Sunnah for the people of his area to recite to protect them against the deviant beliefs of that sect. Another of the Imam's disciples said that the Ratib had been inspired to its author on the 27th night of Ramadan of the year 1071 AH 1661 CE, which was Laylatul Qadr. It means that the main point of difference between the beliefs of Ahl Sunnah and those of the Zaydis, apart from questions concerning the superiority of Imam Ali ibn Ali Talib over the other companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that the Zaydis are Mutazilites, which means they believe that created beings are able to create their own acts, reasoning that otherwise they would not deserve either to be rewarded or punished for them. Ahl Sunnah, on the other hand, believe that created beings intend their actions but can only carry them out through divine power, so that their actions are in effect created by Allah Ta'ala. This is supported by the Quran's assertion that Allah Ta'ala has created you and what you do.
So the Zaydis is a branch of the Shia. They're not as extreme. They're close to Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah in many ways. Uh, and Imam al Haddad had many discussions. In fact, one of them that Habib Muhammad bin Zayn bin Sumait mentions that Imam al Haddad was having a discussion with one of the Zaydis, and he was, kept pushing. And Imam al-Haddad said to him, we usually, the meaning of, we usually discuss with the pen, but we can also discuss with the sword. I was saying to myself, I was like, whoa, go ahead, Imam Dad. Like, we get this. Don't keep pushing it here. SubhanAllah. Mm. No, go ahead.
Quran Surah 37, Ayah 96. Later on, when the Imam went to Hajj, the daily recitation of the Rawatib was instituted in Mecca near the door of the sacred mosque named Bab al Safa, and in Medina near the door of the Prophet's mosque sallallahu alaihi wasallam, named Bab al Rahmah. It was in 1079 AH 1669 CE that Imam al-Haddad rahimahullah went for the only pilgrimage in his
And
life.
one of my teachers that I benefit from in Al Medina, he's from the family of Aida Rus, right? That I got to benefit from him. And he was like a lion. His family had been reading the Ratib in Medina loud for like almost 80 years. And I remember sitting in those sessions, and that was prohibited to do such a thing. And he was a lion. He would just go. I'm like, wow. And one day I asked him about it, and he just pointed to the tomb of the prophet's grave, because I was asking him, like, do you worry about them locking you up? He was like, and just frozen, like pointing, just like him. We don't worry about nobody else. We got him. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, we got him. And that's just like, you would see the security walking by, and they would just look and keep going. This is like some serious, to them, like bid'ah, and what are y'all doing? I was like, subhanallah, lions, man. Aidarus for real. Mm.
He sailed for Aden from the port of Al Shihr. As he was there and the people were crowding to visit him, an Ibadi horse merchant called Suleiman, who had just arrived from India, heard of him, and his curiosity aroused, told his companions they must visit this sheikh. They mocked him. Is there any master other than our master the Imam? They exclaimed, meaning by the Imam the then political leader or sultan of Oman. But he insisted, saying they had nothing to lose, and two men agreed to accompany him, one from the small town of Nizwa and the other from Bahla. So they took a gift of dates and sweets and went to Imam al-Haddad. As soon as he shook hands with the man, the Imam said, "Welcome, Suleiman," named his father, his tribe, and his hometown, and then added that he was married from the Burami tribe of the Al Jawh region. The man was taken aback, and fear welled up in his heart. When greeting the man from Nizwa, he called him by his name, his father's, and his hometowns, then told him that he had left while his wife was pregnant and that she is now delivered of a boy, and had called him Ahmed. As for the third man, the one from Bahla, he again used his name, his father's, and his hometowns to greet him, and then went on to describe to him his house, its location, and its color. These supernatural powers so impressed the Omanis that they decided to turn Sunni, and at once the Imam told someone to copy out for them this creed from his book, The Religious Councils. As they were about to leave, and now thinking that their gifts were too insignificant for such a great man, the three men still wondered at the doorsteps whether they should take the gifts back with them and not give them to the Imam's servant as first intended, when the Imam called his servant, "Take from Sheikh Suleiman the dates and the sweets." Then he addressed him directly. "What did your fathers on the boat say? What did your friends on the boat say? Excuse me. Is there any master other than our master the Imam?" So Suleiman apologized for their discourtesy, and his apologies were duly accepted. One may well ask why, if it was so easy for Imam al-Haddad to change a person's beliefs, did he not do this with did he not do this will all those did he not do this will all those whose beliefs were different from those of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah? The answer, of course, is that saints with powers of unveiling do this only with those in whose heart Allah Ta'ala shows them sufficient good to respond to such an approach. For those whose hearts are hard will always find one excuse or another not to respond. From Ashir, Imam al-Haddad sailed to Aden, where he visited the tomb of Imam Abu
You will
Bakr.
notice that Imam al-Haddad was very concerned and very deliberate in teaching the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And what is the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah? All together, put it up. What is the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah? Or who are the carriers of the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah? That Imam al-Haddad kept explaining. Everyone, inshallah, please. It gives comfort to my heart to know that someone is learning. If 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 I if I die and this point is well understood, my whole work to me was worth it. That all of you understand. And you are proud of it. Not only you understand, oh, wait a minute. This is what I want from you in this issue. Hold up. I keep forgetting it. I took this with an unbroken chain from my wife. I want you to identify, use, and explain, right? I want you to identify who is Ahl Sunnah, put it into practice, use it, and be able to explain it to others. So if you could just do that, mashallah, it's all worth it for me. Subhanallah. Because this is what Imam al-Haddad was explaining. Go ahead.
From al-Shihr, Imam al-Haddad, rahimahullah, sailed to Aden, where he visited the tomb of Imam Abu Bakr ibn Abdullah al-Idarus. Then from there to
Who
Huday.
is Abu Bakr ibn Abdullah al-Aidurus? This should be easy for you. I'm gonna need to take about 15 minutes of your time if possible. If not, well, just I just want to finish this paragraph and then I want to quickly. Who was Al Habib Abu Bakr or Imam Abu Bakr bin Abdullah al Idrus? We want medad, we want spiritual assistance from them. So every time we mention them, inshallah, the mercy of Allah descends. And if our love is intense enough, they will help us. And if they help us, we can't lose. We want it where there's no veil between us and them. We want our connection to be direct. Even though we have a connection from men to men to men, we want to make that connection where it's direct. We don't need to go through the chain, it's direct. But the way to do that is our intense love for them. Right, Isa? He's the son of Al-Aidurus al-Akbar. Yes, right. He's the son of Aidurus al-Akbar. Naam, go ahead.
Then from there to Hudaydah, and from there up the Red Sea to Jeddah. In the Hijaz, he was met with a warm welcome everywhere, recognized as a great scholar and saint, and his barakah was sought by every scholar, man of Allah Ta'ala, and notable in Mecca. There he was asked to lead the morning prayer, and in Medina, the chapters he had already completed of his book Al Nasa'i al Diniyah councils of religion, was read in his presence in the Prophet's mosque.
Alhamdulillah, one of the things we are almost finished uh, having a reading uh, of all the books of Imam. That we have one book left. And yesterday, as I was reviewing one of the books, uh, I came across this and it stood out. Hold on one second. That really made me like, it was like an encouragement. So there was written about Imam al-Haddad, and they described him in the beginning of his book, which was written really by Ahmed bin Zayn al-Habashi. These were questions. It's called An-Nafa'is al-Alawiyya fil Masail al-Sufiyya, right? Or you can translate it, the gems of the Alawiyya concerning Sufism, right? These are questions that were asked to Imam al-Haddad. But describing him, he mentioned, by whom I mean the Husseini Sayyids of penetrating dignities and dazzling proofs, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's behavior, and in particular, see their conclusion and the light of their eyes, the one whose blessings, barakah, envelops the whole world, whose sciences shine through his words to dazzle the mind, the Sheikh al-Islam, the heir of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, immersed in the solicitude of Allah, the generous and liberal, our Sheikh, our blessing, Abu Muhammad, Abdullah ibn Alawi, ibn Muhammad, ibn Ahmed, ibn Abdullah, Al Haddad, Ba Alawi, Al Husseini, Al Ashari. And I was like, wow, they never left that out. Right? Al Ashari wasn't hiding it. Ashari. And I said to myself, Subhanallah, won't we be proud like Imam al-Haddad? Right? Why don't we be proud like Imam al-Haddad? And I mentioned in his diwan, Imam al-Haddad, he said, Kun ashariyan, be ashari. In Risalatul Mu'awana, he mentioned that the truth is with the party called al-Ashariya. Why don't we be proud? Right? They didn't hesitate. And he explained the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. I want you to think of this. If it wasn't important, why Imam Haddad spent, who was a great scholar, and they said reached the level of Mujtahid Mutlaq, he didn't leave it out. Why? Why he didn't leave it out? What would come to your mind? He didn't leave it out. He emphasized it. His students emphasized it. Why? Think about that. And in his area, and especially at the time of his students, they were all on the same path. Why they still emphasized it? So, what is the case when we live around a bunch of misguidance? where Imam al-Haddad, when he saw people deviating, the whole book is into so if he say, here, take this part about the creed, right? And in that line, that his supernatural power so impressed the Omanis that they declared to turn Sunni, and at once, immediately, the Imam told someone to copy out for them his creed from his book, The Religious Councils. Teach them Aqidah. He didn't leave it out. First thing, he didn't say teach them how to join my group. Teach them the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. That's something we should think about. And I'm going to tell you the real reason behind all of it. If the creed is not correct, one will be a loser in the hereafter. If the creed is not correct, one will be a loser in the hereafter. Either being a loser by being among the people of innovation and having innovative beliefs and end up being tortured for that belief, or being a disbeliever and be tortured forever because of kufr. And we should not be light in those issues. And know that is Allah who guides the hearts. So we shouldn't cover the truth seeking to guide hearts. We should explain the truth in the best of ways that we can, but we should never hide the truth. Right? And we have an example in that in Imam al-Haddad. Because, if you want to say bad manners and, name calling and all that other stuff, Imam al-Haddad did it. And you're going to say he had bad manners? He said, I'm Ash'ari. He said, be Ash'ari. He mentioned the creed is the Ash'aris and the Maturidis. He mentioned it. He was explicit. And it reached us 300 years later through his works, through his teachers. And every single one of them were Ash'ari. Don't forget that. For us especially, the name is to point us to the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And then we learn more about the creed of the Ash'ari, which is the creed of Ahl Sunnah, which is the creed of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions, and those who follow them in excellence. That's the true Salafi creed, the creed of the Ash'ari and Maturidiyah. Don't be hesitant in this, please. Here you have an example. Don't listen to me. Listen to Imam al-Haddad. Be firm. Be firm in your creed. It's not something you should waver. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala knows best. Let me remind you quickly of the upcoming subscription-based lessons. We start the first week of December, and that gives you time to save up, inshallah, for it. There's the link for those who would like to register. But this is where I'm going to put my energy at. Most of my energy in terms of teaching is going to be here. I mean, I think we've done enough of the general public teachings, and we will continue, but to get into the details that we want to get into and to really prepare people for a da'wah and learning and teaching, we have to take this to another level. And I need committed people to do that. And in addition to that, we would really be building this work because we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And we have to be in the position to do that work. So the question was asked, what is specifically going to be taught? Where was that question? I saw it somewhere. Um, the first stage is we're going to cover a text in the essential knowledge of the religion, the first stage of it. We covered loosely the book Sulam et Tawfiq. We're going to cover that book and several other books simultaneously for the first year with my notes and the notes of my teachers, which is going to give everyone a firm foundation, not that I think they know, I know they know. There's a difference. Nothing will be left out. With that, there will be tests on that material. So you're going to, if I can give you an idea, you're going to need 3 separate notebooks for the structure of these sessions. You're going to need a notebook for notes that I would give you. You're going to need a notebook for evidences for the material, evidences, proofs for everything we're talking about. Proofs, statements of scholars, all of that. Then you're going to need another notebook for knowing scholars historically and globally. That's separate. That's going to be for the first year. So you'll be studying Aqidah, Fiqh, and Tasawwuf for the first year. But it's going to be very intense. But I want, if you're coming to teach me, don't even sign up. I'll be honest. If you're coming to teach me, don't sign up. Don't sign up if you're not coming to learn. If you're coming to teach, don't even waste your time. It's not about money. So don't worry if you pay. I want someone who want to learn. I don't want no one who wants to teach it. No, I hope that's very clear. If you're coming to teach, don't sign up, because I'm going to kindly give you a refund and put you out. I want people who's coming to learn. So your cup should be empty. Don't come with a half-filled cup, a quarter-filled cup, empty cup. And then when I look in your cup, I don't want to see nothing except what I put in there. I'm really trying to do something, so I don't have time to play and waste time. I want to treat you like when I first learned. My teacher used to sit me next to him, And every time I would deviate to go do something else, he'd say, put that down. Write that. Write this. Write that. Right next to him. I do nothing else. Write that. Write this. Sheikh, I need a book. No, you don't need a book. You need to write that note. And I appreciate it to this day. At the time, I felt like a little bit like, I can do more. He's like, no, you can do this. And I appreciate it. Today, I do. It is the reason why we're able to do what we're doing, because he was like that. But trust me, as I'm preparing more and more and more, I'm looking forward to the classes myself, because it's something I've always wanted to do, but just finding the right people. And I think we've done enough work to get the right people. And I've seen the result of this work already from previous students who have went on to do amazing things. So the flyer is there. The classes are every Wednesday from 7 to 9. But that's the live class times. But you're going to have notes, you're going to have review sessions. So it's going to be a lot more than, I mean, that's what you need to come to. The other stuff you can review on your own time, but you're going to be tested in it. But I want to make sure that the information is well understood, because it's going to be a lot of Arabic terminology, a lot of Arabic words you're going to have to know. So it's going to be work. It's not going to be easy. Not overwhelming, but you have to work. And there's the cost right there. It's not a course that we're doing like 6 weeks. No, it's going on. And I would suggest the minimum that you should commit yourself to is at least 1 year. At least you have the foundational knowledge for further studies. In 1 year, the way the lessons are set up, you will know everything you need to know, you will know it. And whatever you're missing, you'll know how to go get it. So that, if Allah bless us to finish the first year, meaning I lived that long, there will be both. There will be a reader, and there will be me. I'm not going to be lecturing. This is going to be studying. So we're always going to have a book in front of us. And every discussion we have is going to be text-based, building off the text. And you won't get the text, you won't even know the text until you sign up. So, uh, and there you have to buy one book for the first year. So the subscription has nothing to do with the book. You have to buy one book that is going to be the base for the first year. All right. So inshallah, it works out. Let me take you a few questions quickly. Yeah, the live class will be once a week. And throughout the week, that's what you have to do: study, review, memorize. Uh, the other notes, they will be included. You have to get them, you have to go over them. It's going to be work. As of right now, there is no scholarships available. However, we have to build that. So let me tell you how you build it. If someone wants to support students, you can do it right here. And based on what we get in supporting of students, we're going to find the best of students to give those scholarships to. So if someone wants to sponsor a student or two students, uh, that's where you put that in. And just put, I want to sponsor a student, right? But that's what that fund is for anyway. So whenever we have money, we use it. Sometimes it's for books. Sometimes people specify. But if you just put it in the whatever you want to do, that fund is solely for that. Uh, all the classes will be recorded, yes. But if you miss too many classes, we're going to remove you from the class. It's not something that I'm where no, you have to come. Some excuse you may have. We're humans, stuff happens. But if you just missing class, we're gonna put you out. I'm not going to be the normal Imam Amin you see online. Very strict. You're missing class, you're not coming. Assalamu alaikum. See you in post Fajr reflections. No, you have to put in work. Yeah, there will be a format, yes, an outline and a format for students who attend, because I want you to know what you have to do. But it'll only be for the areas that we're covering. So every time we move to a different section, you're gonna know. But you have so many notes, you'll know. Uh, but it only go from section to section. I'm not giving anyone information, so you know. I know how this works. You have to attend. I'm not going to give you a format that you can go do your own thing. Either you commit it or you not. Simple, right? If you want to learn, you're going to come. If you don't, you're not going to come. And I'm satisfied with even when you decide for yourself. If y'all got my point. So I'm not going to tell you the whole course. We're doing this book. I'm not going to do that. I want somebody who's trying to learn what we have. I'm looking for that. Who's committed for the long haul. But there are other courses where they're just a course and they just want your money and see you later. You can go do that. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in developing some strong Sunni Muslims who know their stuff. That's where I'm at with it. I want some strong Sunnis who know their stuff. It's not enough. And we have to do our part to produce them. But I also know us. If you make it easy for us, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do easy. And the end result will not be achieved. And if you're doing your numbers, the access that you're going to get, I guarantee you, I promise you, you won't find what you're going to get in this class in one setting nowhere else. Not us. Because you actually would have to travel the entire Islamic world from place to place to place and then put all that together. And you know how much money that's going to cost you? The same amount of money it cost me. And it's thousands, tens of thousands, literally, of dollars to do that. So if you're looking for that issue, go for it. Let's see how it works out. Yeah, this is not a course. This is a journey. I agree. A course is something where you're expecting that. But when you go sit with a teacher, you're not expecting anything except what that teacher gives you. That's the difference. I never learned a course. I honestly never, ever. I sat with my teachers and I benefited from them. That's it. I never, whatever they gave us, that's what we did. But we were already stuck. Like, we're with the teacher. Take us where you want to take us. That's the student of knowledge. That's a seeker. Today's modern microwave Islam student, they're teaching the teacher through that, right? I have a friend, right? I'll tell you the story. I'm done, but I'll just show you. I have a friend, right? And they spent years overseas and they still can't teach the basic knowledge. And I said to the person, I said, yo, why don't you stop doing your own thing? Stop doing your own thing. That's the problem. You are trying to teach the teachers. That's your problem. That's why you can't teach. Well, all these years, you should be shake, but you keep doing your own thing. You're selecting what you want to learn. That don't work. It doesn't. It doesn't work. You're going to be all over the place. And you're going to find years go by and you still don't have a solid foundation. And it's not because it wasn't available. It's because you want to do your own thing. This is a big disease. Don't be like that. If you really want to learn, you really want to benefit, humble yourself before your teachers, whoever that teacher may be. So if you can't find a teacher you can humble yourself from, then don't wait till you find such a teacher, right? You need a teacher that you're willing to humble yourself before them. No, that's a serious advice for anyone who's seeking knowledge. Find you a teacher who you're willing to humble yourself before. You trust them and you're willing to humble yourself before them. That's so important in seeking knowledge. May Allah make it work for you. So I guess I gave you enough. Inshallah. We'll see you. What's today? Today is Saturday. Inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow. Nothing's happening tonight. Uh, uh, We'll see you tomorrow. May Allah make it easy. بارك الله بكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.